Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com.
History remembers moments of extraordinary strength, skill, and determination. True greatness is forged by those who fulfill their destiny.
Warfront out of Seek and Destroy is a grade 3 winner. What I particularly like about this color is he's got a great strong shoulder, a very strong hip. And when you watch him walk for a horse that has this weight, he's actually got a phenomenal athletic movement to him. So we're going to have him walk and kind of show you how all this physical works together with the horse himself. So typically for a yearling of this size, with this type of weight and muscle and bone, you don't see a horse that's this light on his feet and this athletic. As you watch him go by, he uses every piece of himself really efficiently. He stretches for ground with his front feet. He really pushes off with his hind feet. When you watch him turn, which is a big piece, he's actually very light on his feet as he turns. There's no sloppy movement there. He knows how to use himself. So there's a lot of athleticism with this horse. He's by Warfront, who's a very good sire training, but it's a phenomenal physical of a horse. You can't really fault him for much.
Colt here by Warfront, by the sire of 3 champions, Grade 1 winning colts such as Lines of Battle, War of Will, Omaha Beach, and Air Force Blue.
Now 25, now 15, 50, 75, 75, 75, 75, now 3, 75, 75, 75, 4, 75, 4, Trey's in, 75, 4, 100, 25, 25, 425, 425, yeah now, I've got 400 in the back, 425, 425, 425, 425, 425, 425, 50, 425, 450, 425, nobody anywhere, 425, 50, nobody gotta go, 425, 50, 70, 500, 475, 500. You want back in back there?
I have to outspend somebody else.
I think I said, I don't like to take credit, but I think I said it best myself once when someone said to me, trust me. I said, there's only 2 people in the world I trust. One's me, the other one's not you. So, yeah.
All this and more on Unfiltered on Past the Wire TV.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Past the Wire TV with Michael Wilson, myself, John Stettin, our Breeders' Cup Win and You're In. 2 more win and you're in horses to talk about. One in the, what is it, the Beverly D at Arlington? Is that what it was?
Yes.
The other, Casa Creed wins at Saratoga in the Fourstardave. Let's start with that Arlington race and that excuse of a turf course that they ran that race over.
It's very interesting. It was extreme, I told Dominique, I said, they must have spray painted the dirt course. I said, the clouds that are kicking up on this thing are ridiculous. We've heard rumors, they haven't made the official announcement, but we've heard rumors that they will not be racing on the turf at Churchill Downs.
It wouldn't surprise me. And I heard a rumor about 2 weeks before the Arlington Million from a very reliable source in Kentucky that they were seriously thinking about moving those 2 races to Colonial Downs.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And when I saw it, I couldn't understand why they didn't, because, it just, I think I referred to it as turt or derf. I didn't know what to call it because it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was an interesting race. And I think you and I both know it's extremely difficult to win a grade 1 off the lead on a grass race, right? And you got to take your hats off to Dalika, or however you would say her name. She ran a tough race. She had every reason to lose. Looked like the horse was going to pass her, and then she dug back in. But she ran wire to wire on the front end, which doesn't happen often in grade 1s on the grass.
No, and it wasn't a win and you're in, but if you watch the Arlington Million, which was after that race and run on that same excuse of a course, Santine chased another horse, and Tyler Gaffleone, who rides the Churchill Downs track as good as anybody, made sure he kept Santine glued to the horse on the lead, and they too went 1-2 around the track, and nobody could make up any ground. And my observation coming out of that race, just from going forward standpoint, was that Sacred Life made up a ton of ground over that course or track or whatever we want to call it to run third. And I was like, if anybody's a horse to watch out of that race, it would be him, because he just made up so much ground on a course that I don't think it was easy to do. And I think Dalika's race was a little bit aided by that hard course where nobody could really make up ground on her, and I think that helped her hold and fight back for that lead on the inside when the other filly got to her. So I don't know how that's going to translate to the Breeders' Cup distaff at all.
It's a tough one. The filly and mare turf is for me. I think the filly ran great. I think you have to take your hat off to Al Stall. I think you have to take your hat off to the filly. I mean, she looked beat, and she came back, dug in, pinned her ears, and made sure she got the win. So I think it's a very nice filly. I think that running style is not going to suit any way once you hit Breeders' Cup in November. As we know, turf races are typically won by a horse with a turn of foot who can close. Very rarely horses who can go wire to wire ever win a grass race, unless you're just that much better than the competition and you still have a turn of foot to explode when everybody else kicks. So I think she's in. Love to see her in another grass race, an actual grass race, and see where it shakes out.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I'm going to call her a pretender for the distaff, filly and mare turf, not the distaff. But I just think there are going to be such a better quality of filly and mares coming in for that race from overseas, and even from here. You've got horses like Warlike Goddess and a couple of others that just
Regal Glory. I mean, she ran great.
Glory, right, ran good against the boys. I just think you've got better horses that are going to be digging in at her in the stretch, and I just don't see her able to do that again in a race like the Breeders' Cup turf, which takes us over to Saratoga. Casa Creed, who just seems to get better as he gets older, fooled me a little bit this weekend, because I didn't really think going into that race that he was going to have that same kick he has going 6 and 7 furlongs and 5.5 furlongs going a 2-turn mile. But he certainly did. And he beat, both Chad's horses, the filly and Maison, who's a nice looking prospect from Juddmonte. He beat them pretty easily. I mean, he ran past them in the stretch, full of run, was able to duplicate that sprinting turf kick, going a mile around 2 turns, which in my opinion is not the easiest thing for a horse to do. And he's just getting better and better with age. And, I look back at his past performances, because I've actually bet on that horse a couple of times in some pretty tough races. And one of the things that led me to bet on him, and one of the things I looked at after that race, is he's got a lot of races in his past performances where he comes home really fast the last quarter. He's a finisher, on the turf. There's no way around it. And with the right setup, and now that he's shown me that he can punch going a mile, I'm going to call him a contender. I think he's a horse to worry about. He's a salty old horse, and if he keeps Saez on him, who I like an awful lot, and think is probably one of the strongest finishers in the game, right up there with Rosario and some of the other guys. Just a really tough guy when he's coming at you late. Horse scares me. Dangerous.
I think he ran a phenomenal race. I mean, Regal Glory is a very good filly. So just kind of, he stayed with them and he really accelerated pass horse. And this is the beauty of what we, talked about in the previous show, layoffs, right? Taking care of these older horses. Some of these older horses get so much better at different things that you didn't expect. Once they get older, they become really versatile. There's horses that I worked with. It was very interesting. I tell this story to owners all the time about patience. There's a horse I worked with at Mandela's that I groomed, and as a 2-year-old, he was a pig, right? He's just dirty and stall was disgusting and horse couldn't run a lick. And I'm like, why do I have to take care of this cheap horse? And, so on and so forth. At 3, horse was still not that talented. At 4, he was a little bit better. And at 5, he won 2 grade 1s. So you give some of these horses time, they get better, they find themselves. And sometimes, when they're younger, and they say it with human athletes too, as you get older, you get more slow twitch fibers. You don't have as many fast twitch fibers. So some horses that used to sprint and have speed to sprint actually now have enough stamina to stretch. And so it's interesting to see a horse that has shown he's very good at 7/8. 7/8 looks to be before like it was what he really, really enjoyed, to stretch out to a mile, even though it was a 5-horse field. The filly he beat was this exceptional filly.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, I watched the replay again early this morning just to get another take on it. And Jose, was sitting on Regal Glory looking like he had a ton of filly underneath him. And he kept looking back. And obviously, when I watched the race live, I was like, was he even worried about it? He looks loaded. Was he looking for? I think he was looking for Casa Creed because he knew that horse can come. And he wanted to get the jump, and he did, but just that horse was just mowing him down in the lane. And from my perspective, now that he's shown that he can do that going a mile, he becomes a serious threat, because that race was good, but he's run some other good races that are kind of hidden in his form because he may not have won, but he's capable of coming home a very fast last quarter when he gets the right setup. And that's something that's very, very possible to happen at Keeneland in November. So,
and Keeneland has a stretch, as you would know, right? It's a stretch where it's a longer stretch. So some of these horses that come off the turn, starting to turn their wheels, hit that stretch and explode. So it even makes him more of a contender on that surface. If it was Del Mar, a track like Del Mar, I'd maybe not say that it'd be to his advantage, but knowing that it's at Keeneland, seeing what he did here, I think it really helps him going forward.
Yeah, no, I'm on the same page. So we got 3 horses we talked about on this show that are in the Breeders' Cup off winning you're in races. Blue Prize, who you liked a little bit more than I did. I'm still not sold on her. Dalika, another one you like a little bit more than I do. I'm not sold on her. And Casa Creed, who I think we both agree is a threat in Lexington in November. But still plenty of time to play out. So there's a lot that can still happen. I think, well, it's silly to say, but I think we're going to see a stellar Breeders' Cup. I love the way Keeneland does it. I really do. It's a smaller venue for the Breeders' Cup, and I think that makes it a little bit nicer. Last time they had it there was a big misconception. And I'll close with this. The track played extremely fast. Okay. The times were lightning, but it wasn't a speed bias like everybody said. I mean, if you look at the charts, horses won from everywhere on the racetrack. They just ran fast. So, after a race, the everybody was saying, oh, you got to be on the lead. This is ridiculous. Yeah, well, Essential Quality wasn't on the lead. He came from, well off the pace to win the Juvenile that year, last time it was at Keeneland. So, people are quick to label it speed biased. Just being very fast doesn't necessarily mean that it's speed biased. It just means they're running fast, but they're winning from all over the place. And I have a feeling we'll see another track like that, because I think Keeneland did a great job keeping it fair but fast.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it. I think it's the Breeders' Cup. Who wouldn't be? But I think it's looking really good. And there was some potential Euro monsters coming in. Baid, who now is looking to go a distance, actually runs tomorrow, I think, in the Juddmonte International. We'll see how he does, and if he winds up coming. In Spiral, beat the boys the other day for John Gosden. That was actually, I think, a win in your in race, but overseas. Beat Karobis, beat the boys, so it was a win in your in for the Breeders' Cup turf. I don't know if she'd go there or the filly and mare turf, but she's a monster. That in Spiral, if she comes, she's really special. When she went off the layoff, like we were talking about layoffs at Royal Ascot, I was impressed. So she's going to be a handful if she comes in either race, obviously.
It's nice to see how she's progressed. I mean, last year as a 2-year-old, I thought she was top of the group of the 2-year-old fillies in Europe. And, a filly that I liked a lot, Tenebrism, who's run on and run well. In Spiral's just been in a whole different category. So she's an exciting filly for sure.
And what's scary about her is that John Gosden, when you put put him up against the wall, he says how much better that Emily Upjohn is than any of his other fillies. So we haven't seen that yet on the racetrack, but that's what he said. So wow, those are two really nice ones, because on paper in Spiral is just awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Breeders' Cup winning, you're in. There's a wrap. 3 more horses are in. There'll be plenty more to come. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and ciao for now.
See ya.
Breed the best to the best and hope for the best.
Vacoma broke well on the outside, and
but you don't expect to get speed like this.
Inside, Vacoma continues to battle on down at the rail. It is Vacoma who's going to win the Met Mile. Everybody, Dan Oman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING. Get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator exclusively on DRF Bets.
Are going to avenge what happened in the last race. I really like the 4-horse Nation's Pride. They fired Dettori. They're flying William Buick over to ride this horse.
That should, keep him a little bit more honest. I think it comes down to Nation's Pride and Stone Age like you.
Watch Saratoga today on Past the Wire TV with Dawn Lupel and Jonathan Stettin. Every Saturday morning of the meet, horses to play and to play against, vulnerable favorites, track trends, winning angles, the scope, and more. Watch, subscribe, ride with us. Nobody does it better.
Nobody does it better.